Thank you for being here on a Monday, too. Appreciate it. Certainly tip of the hat to Maine. They played hard. They had a kid come off the bench, hadn't scored a basket all year. He hits 4 threes. He does a really good job. I know they're going to be, tough, out, and they hold the ball. So the pace that they play at was going to be one of those kind of games. But we did enough for some minutes there. I thought we looked really good. I mean, start the first half and started the second half. I challenged Dylan Grant at halftime. He had 0 points, and I think he had 1 rebound, and he had to play, and he did a good job. Obviously, Dennis bounced back from the other day, 19 points. June does a lot of things for us, but, we certainly have to play better. We're still figuring some things out, but we showed some real signs in some minutes, and we obviously the rebound, and they heard that enough, and we're plus on the backboard. So, some good signs, got to get better. It's early still, too, and guys have to give us, really good minutes. And it was his night tonight, and it was his night in the second half. And June kind of does a lot of things for us. So I'm enjoying how it fit him in with our players because he can do a lot of things. He's kind of a unique player. But thank the fans for coming. This was good, 2-0. That was the goal of the game. And we'll keep moving.
Steve, you forced them to have 18 turnovers, and you were plus 14 on the glass. What do those two numbers tell you about?
The plus 14 is something, and especially the pace that they play at. We were on them about rebounding, and, again, a double-double here. And I will tell you, Bryce Dortch, 8 rebounds in 12 minutes. I tell these guys all the time, you got to be ready. I don't know whose night. I don't know. The other night it was Reek's night. This night it was Dennis's night. It's one of those things, but I was pleased with the backboards. We still gave up too many. That's a game we should hold to in the 50s. We left too many points too at the free throw line, but again, some good things. You got to get to 40, and we probably got to 18 really good minutes today, and we got to figure out a way to get to 30 minutes and then 35 and that kind of thing. And guys got to understand how important every minute is. Yeah.
You mentioned Bryce Dortch played a lot of those minutes at the big spot in the second half. I guess, what did you see from him coming into this game, and how can a performance like this really kind of springboard his season?
You know what? I tell all these guys, you just got to be ready. You never know what's going to take. Now, I will tell you, our veterans, DG's played well now. Our veterans, J. Mike has been fantastic. I actually officially named him captain today. He earned the captainship. He's in great shape. He's a plus whatever in the game, plus 14 in the game when he's in the game, and he just does a lot of things. And then obviously E offensively did some good things tonight too, and E still remains one of our best pick and roll defenders too. And then obviously Bryce, our 4 returning guys, really helped us a ton, and that experience, and you see him getting better. And Bryce is always ready, and he's a good defender, and he does some really good stuff for us. So I was proud of him, and he stayed ready the whole time.
You mentioned Dennis bouncing back. I guess what stood out to you about the way that he was able to do that, especially in the first half?
Yeah, I mean, the first game, actually, he had some looks that, he normally makes and what have you, but he was still plus 25 in the game. So he does so many good things for us. But today you saw him get it going, and, he can shoot. He can put it on the deck. He's a good passer. I think as he gets more comfortable with, the pace and the different styles the teams play, like this team wants to play in the 40s and 50s, he'll get better and better. But he's a worker. These 3 guys work, and they're good practice players too, which I think is really important. But he can do a lot of things. He got good size, and we got to utilize him. Keep figuring out how to utilize him for his matchup problems that he causes. And you saw DG, causes matchup problems too, and we're moving him around. We snuck him in the middle of the zone. We kind of went from underneath it. And then once we got the ball into these 2 guys in the middle of that zone, it was really, we had good opportunities. But, Dennis got to keep getting better. Appreciate him.
Coach, you mentioned Dylan Grant, of course, double-double, 10 points, 10 rebounds. What did you see from him today?
First double-double, so I'm proud of him. Yeah, it's been the first game 17-7 and then 10-10 here. How much better has he gotten? He's putting the ball on the deck. But the thing I liked is I challenged him in front of his teammates at halftime, he can't put, and he went and played. He went and played in the second half, and we needed him to. So, growth there. And he's still young in his basketball.
Steve, a lot of people sometimes look at non-conference games and take them with a grain of salt, but first 2 games with this group, what can you say about the character they've built in each of them?
Yeah, I think we're learning a lot about each other, and I think, holding this team, like I thought we should have been in the 50s with them, but they got 60. The last game, 53. So obviously our defense has improved. I think we have a chance to be a good scoring team too. We can't leave that many free throws on the docket. Like he's too good of a shooter, Dennis, to be 3 for 6. I mean, he's a 6 for 6 guy. But we're growing too, and that's what I like. One thing we always get better, and I think this group is, and we got more pieces on the bench that are going to have to start raising up their game too, because we got some guys that can do some things on the bench.
I know you spoke a little bit about Dylan and his performance, but just the 10 points, 10 rebounds, and defensively, kind of a glue-type performance. What can you say about his showing tonight?
Yeah, you know what? I know you guys see it too. Like, he's just the better player this year. He's more confident. He gets to the rim. He can really handle the ball too. But I was really just proud of, challenged him. Like, he can't have a half like that. He's too good of a player, and he had a really good half. And for him to get his first double-double in a game where in the first half he wasn't doing a whole heck of a lot is a really good sign. Now he's going to string 2 of those together, get a 20-20 night. Yeah, that's the goal here. Yeah.
Anything else for Coach Pikiell? The guys will hang for a little bit and take some questions.
Appreciate you guys coming, too. Thank you so much.